So now we will hand it over to Leighan Burns, who will share some news from Canada.
So I too am new to WDI and to this issue, although I was aware that Canada had regulated surrogacy in the early 2000s. My task in this project was to write to the UN Special Rapporteur on Violence Against Women and Girls regarding surrogacy and violence against women and girls, which was made very easy by WDI's excellent and comprehensive Declaration on Women's Sex-Based Rights. I pulled 5 bullet points out of the Articles 1 and 3 of the Declaration and highlighted in particular that states should recognize that harmful practices such as forced pregnancies and the commercial or altruistic exploitation of women's reproductive capacities involved in surrogate motherhood are violations of the physical and reproductive integrity of girls and women and are to be eliminated as a form of sex-based discrimination. That the rights of women are based on the category of sex, that women and girls have rights to physical and reproductive integrity, that states should ensure the full reproductive rights of women and girls and unhindered access to comprehensive reproductive services are upheld, that states should recognize that medical research which is aimed at enabling men to gestate and give birth to children is a violation of the physical and reproductive integrity of girls and women and is to be eliminated as a form of sex-based discrimination. Also pulling from the Declaration, I noted that the Declaration notes that the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action from 1995 states that the explicit recognition and reaffirmation of the right of all women to control all aspects of their health, in particular their own fertility, is basic to their empowerment. This right is undermined by the use of surrogate motherhood, which exploits and commodifies women's reproductive capacity. The exploitation and commodification of women's reproductive capacity also underpins medical research, which is aimed at enabling men to gestate and give birth to children. Some men who claim a female gender identity make claims to be included in the legal category of mother-in-law policies and practice, and that such inclusion erodes the social significance of maternity and undermines maternal rights. And although sound, comprehensive evidence as to what's currently happening worldwide is scarce, even in countries where surrogacy is regulated to prevent commercialization of the practice, it is clear that the practice is rapidly growing, and occasional media exposés make clear that the monitoring and enforcement of protections is inadequate. In Canada, it's regulated but poorly monitored. So for example, there was one case that I could find that a clinic director was convicted in 2013 for working outside the bounds of the regulations and was fined $60,000, which is really quite a nominal sum when you consider it. And many critiqued it as sort of being built in as the cost of doing business. We just had an election in Canada, which was largely dominated by the situation between us and our neighbors to the south. So it was very hard to insert anything into that election at all. But I did canvass what women's groups were saying and whether anybody had this on their radar. And it was not really, I couldn't find it really amongst many women's groups in Canada. So it needs to get a higher profile here. So I'll be pursuing that with a new government that's just been installed. It's a minority government, so who knows how long it'll last, but we'll see. Our situation in Canada is really, well, it's probably true in the rest of the world as well. The situation with the United States has sort of upended many of our usual practices. So we'll see where that goes. The simple fact, I concluded the letter with saying that the simple fact is that it's impossible for surrogacy as a violation of the physical and reproductive integrity of girls and women to ever be reconciled with the protection and advancements of women's and girls' rights, and therefore must be eliminated as a form of sex-based discrimination. And that was my contribution to this effort.